For 50,000 years, the galaxy has whispered a name in fear. A name found in the ruins of fallen empires, a warning locked in the archives of the long-vanished. They called it Keth'Maran, the proving ground, a world that birthed the most dangerous, most resilient predators the universe had ever known. Now, a routine scout report has put that legendary name back on the map. The children of Keth'Maran are stirring. They are reaching for the stars. But what if the most feared species in galactic history just wanted to make friends? What if the monster at the end of the story was just us? This is the story of when the Galactic Council learned Earth's real name, and terror gripped the galaxy. Before we declassify this report, be sure to subscribe to this channel and authorize the signal. The truth must be shared. Alright, let's open the Vorth archives. The story begins on a Tuesday. The morning shift at the Galactic Council's Xenobiology department started like any other. Senior archivist Keth'Maran, a tall, blue-skinned Alterion with 4 arms, sat at his workstation, sipping warm nectar from a crystalline cup. His secondary arms moved gracefully across holographic displays, sorting the overnight transmissions from deep space scout vessels. The work was routine, almost boring. The first 17 reports were the usual pattern. Dead systems, lifeless rocks, a gas giant with interesting atmospheric chemistry. Keth'Maran processed each one quickly, assigning catalog numbers and filing them away. Then he opened report number 18. Scout Vessel Wandering Star, or Ion-armed third planet from a single yellow star. Interesting, Keth'Maran muttered, leaning forward. The planet glowed blue and green, wrapped in a swirl of white clouds. It was teeming with life, and not just microbes. The report detailed millions of different life forms, from microscopic organisms to massive creatures swimming in the oceans. But the real surprise was in the next section. Intelligent life confirmed. Classification, level 4. Keth'Maran set down his nectar cup. The beings called themselves humans. Their planet, Earth. They had built cities, developed technology, and had just begun exploring their own star system. They were a young species. Incredibly young. According to the genetic analysis, they had only developed true intelligence within the last 100,000 years. Most species took millions of years to reach even basic space flight. The scouts' behavioral observations painted an interesting picture. Humans seemed driven by a relentless curiosity. They explored the most dangerous places on their own planet. Deep oceans, frozen poles, high mountains. They didn't do it for resources. They did it for the challenge. Eager little things, Keth'Maran said to himself, making a note in the file. The report recommended standard first contact protocols, but not for several centuries. The humans needed time to mature. Premature contact often proved disastrous. Better to let them grow on their own. Keth'Maran agreed. He assigned Earth the catalog number ZX 7749 and began the final step of the process. A standard cross-reference of the stellar coordinates with the historical database. The Council had been exploring space for over 1 million years. Sometimes they rediscovered worlds that had been cataloged long ago. He initiated the search and moved on to the next report. 3 hours later, a soft chime indicated the search was complete. Keth'Maran expected the usual result. No matches found. Instead, the display read, 7 matches found. He frowned. That was unusual. He opened the first match, dated 12,000 years ago. A hegemony exploration vessel had detected primitive radio signals. Nothing more. The second, 18,000 years ago, mentioned the system as a navigation waypoint. The third, 31,000 years ago, noted unusual seismic activity. Each match pushed further back. 42,000 years. 48,000 years. 50,000 years. The seventh and oldest match was different. The file header bore the seal of the Vorth Empire, a civilization that had vanished from the galaxy over 50,000 years ago. The Vorth had been one of the greatest spacefaring races in history before their mysterious disappearance. And this file was encrypted. Keth'Maran stared at the security warnings. Access requires level 9 clearance. Higher than his own. The file was marked with ancient Vorth symbols he recognized as dire warnings. Why would the Vorth Empire have classified information about a primitive system like Earth's? He tried to access it anyway. The system immediately denied his request and logged the attempt. Within minutes, a message flashed on his screen. Archivist Keth'Maran. Report to High Counselor Malakur's office immediately. Bring file ZX 7749. Kalen felt his 4 hearts skip a beat. The High Counselor never summoned junior archivists. Something about Earth had triggered the highest levels of Council security. High Counselor Malachur, an ancient being whose species had evolved from crystalline formations, received Kalen in a chamber filled with floating data displays. "You discovered something interesting today," Malachur said, his voice like the chime of distant bells. "Tell me about this world, called Earth." Kalen presented his findings. Malachur listened without interruption. "And the historical cross-reference?" Malachur asked. 7 matches, High Counselor. The oldest is a Vorth Empire file. It requires level 9 clearance. Malachur's crystalline form pulsed with a dim, troubled light. "Return to your duties, archivist, and speak of this discovery to no one. I will handle the Earth file, personally." As Kalen left, he couldn't shake the feeling that his routine discovery was anything but. Something about Earth terrified the High Counselor. Malachur stood alone in his private chamber, staring at the encrypted Vorth file that had remained sealed for 50 millennia. He entered his highest security codes. The file opened with a warning written in ancient Vorth script. The translation appeared. "Warning to all who follow the star paths. The third world of the yellow star contains the Keth'Maran. Let none wake them. Let none approach. The children of Keth'Maran must sleep until the galaxy is ready for their return." High Sage Vorthax, final entry. Malachur's form flickered with shock. Keth'Maran. In the old tongue, it meant the proving ground. But it carried a deeper meaning. It referred to a legendary place where the most dangerous beings in the galaxy had either evolved naturally or been deliberately placed. He accessed the Council's most restricted databases. He searched for Keth'Maran. Fragments appeared. An Alterion chronicle mentioned the sleepers of Keth'Maran who dream of conquest among the stars. A broken hegemony text spoke of those who survived the great testing, dwelling on the world of trials. A Zetian religious manuscript warned, "When the children of Keth'Maran wake, even the stars will tremble before their hunger for the infinite." Each reference painted the same picture. Keth'Maran was a legendary world, a crucible that had forged the most adaptable, most resilient, most dangerous species in galactic history. The ancients had spoken of its inhabitants with a mixture of awe and terror. Malachur pulled up the scout reports from Earth again, studying them with new, horrified eyes. The humans had survived an ice age that should have killed them. They had endured asteroid impacts, supervolcanic eruptions, disasters that had wiped out apex life on most worlds. More disturbing was their behavior. The scouts had observed humans climbing mountains that could kill them, exploring ocean depths that could crush their vessels, venturing into frozen wastelands that offered nothing but death. They did these things for curiosity, for fun, and their warfare, it showed a frightening creativity. They had weaponized everything from chemicals to atomic energy. What kind of species develops nuclear weapons before achieving unified planetary government, let alone space flight? The kind that evolved on Keth'Maran. Malachur dove deeper. He found a Vorth astronomical chart that matched Earth's coordinates exactly. The planet was marked with symbols that meant sealed and forbidden. Then he discovered something that made his crystalline form pulse with alarm. A Vorth fleet deployment record, dated exactly 50,000 years ago. It listed a massive fleet stationed around Keth'Maran. Mission designation, Final Watch Protocol. The last entry in the log read, "The children stir in their sleep. We cannot contain them much longer. All fleets withdraw. Let the galaxy prepare." Shortly after that entry, the Vorth Empire vanished from history. They didn't fall. They didn't decline. They ran. Malachur's mind raced. He found evidence that several ancient civilizations had known about Keth'Maran. Some had tried to study its inhabitants. Others tried to contact them. A few had even tried to conquer them. None of those civilizations existed anymore. The pattern was always the same. First contact with Keth'Maran, followed by the complete disappearance of the contacting species from all galactic records. He reviewed the human behavior reports again. The scouts described humans as remarkably adaptable. Most species find a suitable environment and stay there. Humans take unsuitable environments and make them livable. Their art and literature focused on conflict, survival, and overcoming impossible odds. Their heroes were beings who faced certain death and refused to surrender. Their stories celebrated sacrifice and fighting against overwhelming enemies. These were the children of Keth'Maran. Malachar called up a star chart. The humans were already sending out radio signals. Their space programs were advancing at an exponential rate. The scouts projected they would achieve faster-than-light travel within a few centuries. When that happened, the children of Keth'Maran would be awake, and they would be moving among the stars. Malachar began composing an emergency message to the Council's inner circle, the 7 founding species. But deep in his crystalline heart, he suspected the decision had already been made 50,000 years ago. The galaxy was going to change, whether it was ready or not. The sleepers of Keth'Maran were stirring, and soon they would be fully awake. The emergency session of the inner circle convened in the Council's most secure chamber. The humans are definitively the children of Keth'Maran, Malachar concluded, the holographic display of Earth floating serenely between them. The question now is what we do about it. General Grok, the massive representative of the warrior Korak Empire, slammed one of his 6 fists on the table. We should destroy them. Now, while they are still trapped on their world. If the ancient warnings are true, waiting will only make them more dangerous and become the next civilization to vanish from history, asked Ambassador Sarala, the graceful Altarion diplomat. Every species that tried to eliminate Keth'Maran's children has disappeared. Perhaps there is wisdom in letting them sleep. They are not sleeping anymore, Malachar reminded them. They have atomic weapons and space travel. Within a few centuries, they will have FTL capability. My people have legends of Keth'Maran, said Elder Vexmir of the ancient hegemony, his species the oldest in the galaxy. The old stories speak of beings who could not be conquered because they refused to stay conquered. Every defeat made them stronger. Every loss taught them new ways to survive. Stories and legends, Grok scoffed. We have weapons the ancients never dreamed of. Do we? Malachar activated another display. I authorized deep reconnaissance. Our most advanced stealth probes are studying the humans now. What they have found disturbs me. The first recordings showed human military exercises. Soldiers training in environments that would kill most galactic species. Frozen mountains, burning deserts, dense jungles. They learned to fight in conditions no sane species would willingly enter. Look at their equipment, Malachar said. They have created tools of war that show remarkable innovation. But more importantly, look at how they test them. The probes had recorded humans deliberately placing their weapons in extreme conditions to see if they would fail. They buried explosives in ice, submerged vehicles in corrosive liquids, exposed equipment to lethal radiation. They do not just build weapons, Malachar explained. They torture test everything to find its breaking point. Then they build better versions. Sarala's forearms trembled slightly. That is thorough. It gets worse, Malachar continued. These are their recreational activities. The council watched in stunned silence as humans threw themselves off cliffs attached to elastic cords, jumped from aircraft with fabric wings, and raced vehicles at speeds that guaranteed death if anything went wrong. They sought out mortal danger for pleasure, just as the legends described, whispered Elder Vexmir. And this, Malachar said, showing recordings of human disasters. Earthquakes, floods, fires. Watch how they respond. Instead of fleeing, many humans ran toward the danger to help others. They entered burning buildings for strangers. They sailed into violent storms to rescue those in distress. They become more cooperative when threatened, Malachar noted. Most species become selfish during a crisis. Humans become selfless. General Grok's confidence was visibly shaken. Show them the war simulations, he growled. Malachar activated the models. A full-scale Korak surprise attack on Earth. The first wave of attacks would succeed, Malachar explained as the simulation played out. Human military forces would be destroyed. Their cities would burn. Billions would die. But then, the simulation shifted. Surviving humans disappeared into forests, mountains, and urban ruins. They began a guerrilla war with improvised weapons. Within months, they were striking back. The computer predicts that within 5 years, human resistance would develop weapons capable of destroying Korak vessels, Malachar said. Within 10 years, they would be building their own spaceships from our captured technology. Impossible, Grok protested. They are primitives. Are they? Malachar showed more data. In the past century alone, humans have gone from simple machines to atomic energy, computers, space travel, and genetic engineering. Their rate of technological advancement is unprecedented in galactic history. The simulation continued. After 20 years of brutal occupation, the humans had not only driven off the Korak forces, but had reverse-engineered their technology and begun expanding into space themselves. The simulation ends, Malachur said quietly, with the human fleet arriving at the Korak homeworld, armed with weapons that combine human innovation with Korak engineering. The chamber fell silent. The legends were true, Elder Vexmir said. They cannot be conquered because they learn from conquest. Then what do you suggest? Sarala asked. The ancient records offer one possibility, Malachur said reluctantly. Several texts mention that Keth'Maran's children might be manageable if approached correctly. As friends. Grok laughed harshly. Peaceful relations with the most dangerous species in galactic history? That is your solution. It may be our only option, Malachur replied. Every other approach leads to our destruction. The secret did not hold. A junior aide, a translator, a military analyst. The rumor leaked. Keth'Maran has awakened. The whisper spread through the galaxy like a quantum ripple. On the trade station orbiting Nexus Prime, Captain Yilmaris of the merchant vessel Silver Wind received a one-line message from his hegemony contact. Avoid Sector 7749. Yilmaris immediately filed new navigation plans. Better to add 3 weeks to his journey than risk encountering the children of Keth'Maran. Within days, every trade route in the galaxy was being quietly rerouted. On the militaristic world of Cormel, General Thraxon received sealed orders. 3 entire battle fleets, over 10,000 warships, were to redeploy to defensive positions as far from human space as possible. The Korak Empire, feared throughout the galaxy, was retreating from a species that had not yet achieved FTL travel. Religious orders began re-examining ancient prophecies. They shall bring change through connection, transformation through understanding, and strength through compassion. The galaxy held its breath, watching, waiting for the inevitable. And on Earth, humanity continued its daily existence, completely unaware of the cosmic terror their mere presence was causing. On the International Space Station, Captain Anya Sharma looked out at the stars during her evening observation. She keyed the deep space transmitter, sending her daily message of friendship into the void. Hello to anyone who might be listening. She spoke into the array. This is Captain Anya Sharma, speaking from Earth. We are a young species, just beginning to explore space, and we hope to meet you someday. We come in peace and friendship, eager to learn. Her cheerful message traveled out into space, reaching automated monitoring stations positioned throughout the solar system by species too terrified to approach directly. The most dangerous beings in galactic history were broadcasting invitations to visit, asking for friendship, and promising to share what they knew. The collision happened on a Tuesday. Humanity's farthest-reaching vehicle, the automated probe Pioneer 7, registered an impact with an unknown object. Contact, Dr. Marcus Kane announced at Mission Control in Houston. We have contact. 300 light-years away. Commander Valari of the Hegemony Rezier. Vessel Seeker of Truth stared at his damage reports in disbelief. He had strayed into the forbidden sector, and he had hit something. Sir, his communications officer called out. The probe, it's transmitting on universal standard frequencies. Put it through. The bridge speakers crackled. Unknown vessel. This is automated probe Pioneer 7 from Earth. We have detected a collision. Are you in need of assistance? Please respond. We are eager to establish peaceful contact. Valari stared at the display in shock. The legendary children of Keth'Maran had just asked if his vastly superior vessel needed help. Back on Earth, the excitement was electric. Should we respond? Asked a junior technician. Absolutely. Kane replied, his heart pounding. This is what we've been hoping for. He opened the channel. Unknown vessel. This is Dr. Marcus Kane, speaking for planet Earth. We confirm the collision. Are your crew injured? Do you require assistance? We come in peace. On the Seeker of Truth, Valari listened with growing amazement. Sir, his medical officer reported. We have 17 injured. The collision damaged our medical bay. Valari made a decision that would change galactic history. He opened a channel. Dr. Kane of Earth, this is Commander Valari. We have injured crew and damaged systems. If you are sincere in your offer. Of course we are. Kane interrupted, his excitement barely contained. What do you need? We'll help however we can. We require medical supplies, but I must warn you, our species may appear unusual. Kane laughed. Commander, we've been dreaming of meeting aliens our entire lives. You could look like anything, and we'd still be thrilled to help. Within hours, the news spread across Earth. Humanity's first contact was not an invasion. It was a rescue mission. The Endeavour, Earth's most advanced spacecraft, captained by Anya Sharma, launched immediately. It carried doctors, engineers, and diplomats. When the two ships docked, Commander Valari prepared to meet the legends face-to-face. His crew was terrified. The airlock opened. Captain Sharma floated through, followed by her team. She was smaller than he expected. But what struck him most was her expression of genuine concern. Commander, she said, extending a hand in a human gesture of greeting he recognized from their broadcasts. I'm Anya Sharma. How can we help? Over the next several hours, human medical teams worked alongside alien doctors. Human engineers studied hegemony technology with fascination, offering brilliant, simple solutions to complex repair problems. And the humans seemed completely unimpressed by their own legendary status. You've never heard of Keth'Maran? Valari asked Captain Sharma during a quiet moment. Should we have? She replied, confused. Is that what other species call Earth? It means the proving ground, Valari explained carefully. According to our oldest records, your world was where the most dangerous beings in galactic history evolved. Sharma laughed. A warm, genuine sound. Dangerous, Commander? We brought cookies. She was right. The human medical team had brought homemade chocolate chip cookies to share with the alien crew. Your species has been feared for 50,000 years, Valari continued, still trying to understand. Sharma's expression turned serious. That's awful. Fear is a terrible thing. We don't want anyone to be afraid of us. We just want to learn about the universe and maybe make some friends along the way. As word of the first contact spread, the galaxy watched in confusion. The Korak Empire's generals saw their scouts report that the children of Keth'Maran were sharing meals and stories. The High Priestess of New Alteria consulted the prophecies again. They shall bring strength through compassion. Commander Valari found himself genuinely enjoying human company. Dr. Jennifer Walsh, the mission's chief medical officer, showed him pictures of Earth. Blue oceans, green forests. Your world is beautiful, he told her. We'd love to show it to you, she replied. And we'd love to see yours. As the two crews prepared to part ways, Valari faced a decision. His orders were clear: avoid contact at all costs. But these humans had risked their lives to help strangers. They had shared their food, their knowledge, and their kindness freely. They asked for nothing in return, except friendship. He made his choice. Captain Sharma, he said formally, standing before her on the bridge of the Seeker of Truth. I hereby extend an official invitation for humanity to join the Galactic Council. It is clear that the ancient warnings were incomplete. Sharma smiled brightly. We accept, Commander. When do we start? The news of humanity's invitation spread. The age of fear began to end. The age of cooperation began. The children of Keth'Maran were indeed dangerous. They were dangerously optimistic, dangerously helpful, and dangerously good at making friends. And the galaxy would never be the same.